Now welcome to another lightning response video, where this time we have a question from Darth Rage, who asked, "Hey Thor, what is your opinion on Lucas's choice of making Luke and Leia brother and sister? Was it a smart choice, or did it seem like it came out of nowhere? To me it seemed like the right choice because we saw Leia and Han together more than her with Luke. Leia and Han complemented each other better. Obviously he made this choice near the end of The Empire Strikes Back. I think Lucas had the intention of having Luke and Leia be together, but then he saw that it wasn't going to work. And I do think, especially here in hindsight, or with the benefit of hindsight, that it was absolutely the right choice, that it worked really well putting Han and Leia together. I mean, those two, their time and story together, they are basically half of The Empire Strikes Back, half of arguably the best Star Wars movie there is, so of course it was a good decision when you look at it that way. And I think we can all agree they do have some pretty amazing chemistry both on and off the screen, apparently. And the whole "I love you, I know" scene is one of the most iconic moments in all of Star Wars, in all of film history, even you could say. And it'd be strange to not have those two then end up together in the end after all of that, even if Harrison Ford did want Han killed off so he wouldn't be asked to do any more movies ever. Though of course those two ending up together means that our main hero, Luke, doesn't get the girl in the end, as is so often the trope, especially back then. But with Leia being his sister, and I do agree there was better chemistry between Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher than there was Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, but with them being siblings, it kind of gets explained away why he doesn't get the girl, right? We don't have to now feel bad that Luke ends up all alone while Han and Leia are happily ever after. Even though, yes, clearly Luke, had a thing for Leia, especially in A New Hope. It's clear he is quite infatuated with her, and with him, again, being the sort of main hero or main protagonist of the story, it seems inevitable, or so you'd think, that he is going to end up with Leia in the end. And to be very, very, very clear here, it was not decided to make them brother and sister at that point, in A New Hope, I mean, or even at any point during the creation of The Empire Strikes Back. That actually doesn't come about until the writing process of Return of the Jedi, which is why we see brother and sister kiss in Empire. Literally, no one knew any better at that point. Furthermore, in that film, in Empire, when Yoda says there is another, when he says that to Obi-Wan when Luke is leaving and is likely going to end up confronting Vader and maybe he gets himself killed or is turned to the dark side, Yoda's actually not talking about Leia being the other. I mean, yeah, now he is talking about her, or it ended up being that Yoda was referencing Leia, but that was not the original idea behind that line. The original idea was that Luke was indeed going to have a sister, one we'd learn about in Return of the Jedi, but it wasn't going to be Leia. It was going to be a brand new character. And I know some really liked the idea that Yoda was implying Anakin was their last hope, that him returning to the light was the other, almost like Yoda prophesized the end of Return of the Jedi, that he maybe foresaw or hoped that Anakin would come back to the light and save the day. But anyway, yeah, Lucas was going to introduce a brand new character in Return of the Jedi that would be both the other Yoda spoke of in Empire and be Luke's sister. But the idea was scrapped mainly because George Lucas just wanted to wrap everything up as neatly as he could. He didn't want to introduce a big brand new character or have any real loose ends. At that point in time, he basically wanted a break from Star Wars. He had given the last or previous decade of his life to it, and he had currently given up on the idea of going ahead and doing more films or any set after Return of the Jedi. So the idea to make Luke and Leia brother and sister, to make her the other, was mainly done for simplicity's sake, really. And I'd argue it doesn't feel like it comes entirely out of nowhere in Return of the Jedi. I mean, maybe a little bit, but there is that moment while while he's hanging out the bottom of Cloud City in Empire, when he reaches out and Leia hears him, and it does seem to maybe sort of imply Leia might be able to use the Force to some degree, even if that was just supposed to all be Luke. The original intent was not to imply Leia could use the Force, or that there was some sort of special or unique bond between Leia and Luke, or to allude to the fact that they were brother and sister. Like I said, that decision didn't come about until Return of the Jedi. Though, yeah, now, again in hindsight, that scene, Luke reaching out to Leia and her hearing it, could certainly be construed as a brother-sister moment, I think. Furthermore, the decision to make them siblings or twins is actually crucial to the final confrontation between Vader and Luke. It does play a part in the story, because Vader learning that Luke has a twin sister, and then of course him threatening to turn her to the dark side, is what sets Luke off and causes him to lash out and almost kill Vader and fall to the dark side himself, before he then realizes he's slipping and becoming just like his dear old dad. And he stops himself and, of course, throws his saber away and puts his faith in Vader to turn back to the light and become Anakin once more. So again, it's not like it's just this completely random feeling decision that was only done to give us a clean ending. Leia and Luke being brother and sister does factor into the story and plays a big part in how everything ultimately plays out. And it's another one of those things, like some of the things I was talking about in yesterday's video, like what if the Empire didn't build a second Death Star? Or what if the opening of the film wasn't about rescuing Han? What if he had been maybe either killed at the end of Empire or rescued by Leia, Lando, and Chewie? How does that impact the next film? Or what does the beginning portion of Return of the Jedi now look like instead? Leia not being Luke's sister and a whole brand new character being introduced that is his sister are some of those things, or some of those fun questions we could ask and try to wonder how the movie plays out instead. And I really do think in the near future I will make a video trying to answer those questions for fun, of course. I'll try to make an alternate version of my favorite movie of all time, an alternate version of Return of the Jedi. But for now, that's going to be all I got for you this time. So now it is your turn to take to the comments below and tell me what you think about Luke and Leia being brother and sister. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it comes out of nowhere? Or is it just something that works perfectly? Or you can always ask a question for a future lightning response video. All you got to do is start your comment off with "Hey Thor" and then ask away. But whatever you choose to do, leave a comment below and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.